What's up with y'all, Prince here, and today we're going to be talking about some good settings for Farlight 84 for PC. I know there's a lot of hype around the PC version of the game, and there's a lot of hype on mobile, and people are coming from mobile over to PC. So let's go ahead and hop straight into it. Not really much to it. Keyboard and mouse, right? The very thing that everybody wants to know is what is that sweet spot for that sensitivity? What's the golden number? And I think the default is 2, but let me tell y'all something right now. If you're new to the game, do not mess with the sensitivity, right? There's no magic number when it comes to sensitivity. The only thing that you need to worry about sensitivity is keeping the same sensitivity and making sure you're a god tier with that sensitivity. There is no reason to go up and down if you have never played the game before on PC. Just stick with it and just try to learn it. If you're a pro at it, you need to bump it down. Now I know that doesn't make any sense. If you're pro at it, why would you want your sensitivity to be lower? Actually, mouse and keyboard players, the good professional ones, that actually play on a low sensitivity because they use their arm in order to aim. So when they actually use their arm, they have more range of motion, but that more range of motion, if it was on a high sensitivity, they would be all over the place. So they have to play on a lower sensitivity. So I might go with like a 0.0 or like a 0.2 or 0.1 or something like that. I don't even know, like what can it go down to? Yeah, like a 0.4 0.2 if you're absolutely pro. But I think the default is 2.5 or 2. Just stick with 2. Just stick with 2 right now, y'all. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna stick with 2 and go from there, because most of y'all that are new to PC, you're going to be using more of your wrist, and your wrist doesn't have that much range of motion, right? So therefore you don't want your sensitivity to be low, because you're going to be dragging and moving, and it's just not good. It's not good to be aiming with your wrist on a low sensitivity. Now it's definitely doable if it's on a higher sensitivity. So I have it on 2, but it can go higher. I think it's kind of ridiculous if you I don't know what the highest is. 10, that's just I don't want to know what that is. All right, but I think the default is 2.5 or 2, but just keep it at 2. 2 is a nice, good, consistent one, especially if you're new to PC, if you're new to aiming with the actual mouse and you're not necessarily comfortable with your arm. But we're trying to work towards that, right? But as of right now, it's okay. Just use your wrist, right? It doesn't have that much range of motion. All you can do is go left and right. So you are going to have to eventually use your arm, because your wrist can only go left and right. If you want to go up and down, look up and down, right, you have to actually use your arm. Aiming mode, now a lot of people, I don't know, all right, it's you know, tip for tat. I've done both, right? I've done both to where I've gotten used to it holding. So what happens is, if you just hold down the right click, it aims down sight, and then if you let go, right, it automatically goes back to the hip fire. Now if you do switch, right, all you have to do is click it, it'll stay in down sight, right, and then once you click it again, it'll un-ADS, right? So I don't know if people want to do that. That's just a preference thing. If you don't want to worry about holding down something, worrying about another muscle actually holding down something and aiming, and then you know you have to worry about your aim and then also shooting as well, just do switch. But holding is good because you can hold and you can switch out and you can go back. You can hold it. It has more of a natural feel, because if you know, aiming down the trigger, you have something to actually click and actually do something with, and then you can just pull away, and then you can un-ADS and hip fire. You can go back and forth instead of clicking and then holding and then making sure, like, am I still clicked? Am I not clicked? And it's a lot to actually think about if you're in an actual gunfight. So I would just leave it at hold. I think it's on switch on default. I'll just leave it on hold. Get used to holding it down. But again, it's all preference, y'all. And then custom keybind, I don't really want to get into the custom keybind because it's all preference, y'all. Now, if you have a mouse and keyboard and you're playing this game on mouse and keyboard and you have additional buttons, I don't know if y'all can see this, but I have 2 buttons right here. Please use that to your advantage. The game allows it, so please keybind it to something. I have it keybind to my med kit and my shield. I don't want it keybind to something that it has anything to do with movement, because this right here is already predicated to something that I want to do, which is move my gun around, move the camera around. That's what I want this to be used for. So if I focus on something else, because I used to have a keybind to the vertical boost and the horizontal boost, it just became too much. I was worried about boosting, and then my thumb, and I was getting confused. It was just too much. So I wanted to do something subtle. So I got the med kit and the shield in there. So I just click it when I have to, and I'm good to go. I don't have to really think about it. Now, advanced sensitivity settings. Here's my thing on this, okay? I left it to default. I'm doing the stuff I preach, y'all. I'm leaving it all the same, 100%. I don't want to, because if stuff is too different all the time, right, you have to, it just doesn't, you want everything to be the same, because muscle to mind memory is an actual thing. You know, muscle memory is a real thing, okay? I want y'all to get as accustomed to it as possible. If you got your tactical skill sensitivity, your standard view, red dot, all at like 50, 70 and then another 2. It's just too much, bro. Now I don't use scopes like that, so that's why y'all see that different percentages. And even when I use the scope, it's actually not that bad, but I would just leave it all default and just get used to these sensitivities. And if you want to change it up, right, change it up. Now getting used to something, everybody's different, but I would say if you practice every single day and actually play with the exact same sensitivity for a whole month straight, that is a more than enough time to get used to something to where it's almost like a habit. But you got to be playing every day, playing for a good amount of time to actually get used to the sensitivity. If you're constantly changing sensitivity 16 times a day, you're never going to get used to the sensitivity. Like you're not even going to get good. Like you're not actually going to progress in your actual skills. This camera view, just leave it the same. Firing, please, for the love of God, y'all, leave all this stuff the same. Get used to your sensitivities and then start changing, and don't change it by much, right? Don't, you see the 2 time scopes, right? Say for instance I got used to it, I'm a pro at it. Don't go from 60 all the way up to like 150%. That's just wild. It's just too big of a jump. Don't do that, y'all. I know y'all looking for these perfect numbers and stuff, but everybody is different. Just leave mostly everything the same, right, and do micro adjustments. That's how you're going to get fucking goated at this goddamn game. Hey, click right here, we have some more Farlight 84 videos. I'll see you in those videos. It's Prince. I'm out. Peace, y'all.